Yeah, you pour that drink. Haha.
Damn right.
Welcome to the Play Pouch, everyone. We've got some news articles for you. The most important one we're going to leave till last because that's really exciting, and hopefully, if the rumor's true, then it's good times for everyone. But in the meantime, oh, of course, yes, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Nick. How you doing?
Not bad, Pete. Not bad. How are
Cool.
you?
Just woken up. Yeah, yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Had a bit of the winter blues today, but never mind. Let's plod on regardless.
Yeah, it's the
Um,
1st of October, nearly winter. You know?
yeah, yeah. If you like our shows, everyone, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, slap the notification bell, give us a like and a comment. We will engage with you. So okay, so let's kick off with the first news article. Do you want to take this? Do you want to choose which one?
Um, I only know of two of them, and I think you've got something for us that I don't know about.
Yeah, that's at the
Um,
end. Yeah.
let's talk about Final Fantasy. Now, we have spoken about them before and something similar to this, but it's all kind of come out and reared its head again after the Tokyo Game Show. Because obviously Square, all Square really announced in that show, people, that I know about. They did do their own show, but we did not cover that. They did do their own little show. I believe it was on Saturday, last Saturday, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
We covered obviously the first two. And they obviously released. They just released the pixel remasters of their first 6 Final Fantasy games. I have picked up number 6, by the way. I haven't quite started it yet, but I will be starting it soon. So I have. They've got me, I suppose, if you want to look at it that way. They
Right.
got me with part 6. I did see that they actually released the whole 6 in a bundle, but it was quite. I found it quite expensive, Pete. 52 quid.
Really? What,
Yeah,
for all 6?
yeah. So you
Right.
so you are getting a little bit of a saving because I think it's like it'll be closer to 70 quid if you bought them all separately. But I still think that for games that are that old, I think that that's not really. I think you're a little cheeky, if I'm being honest.
Hmm.
I only really wanted number 6, though. If the other ones were to come significantly down in price, you might see me have a bite. But I only really wanted 6. But anyway, the point is, so they have made some moves, but they still have not, as of yet, put their big hitters that are well, Sony exclusives. They still have not done that or announced it yet.
All right.
So Final Fantasy 16, that is on the PC now for you PC players, you can play it there. Has still not come on Xbox, and neither's Rebirth. Um, and we're going to quickly talk about not so much the future of the games, because I know that me and Pete have actually already had a conversation regarding the future of the third game in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. And that will still go ahead as planned, and that will still probably have a lot of money thrown behind it. But I was watching something about Square, and I thought to myself, as he was pondering the question, I won't say which streamer it is, but he was pondering the question, what is Final Fantasy's identity? And I wanted to have a quick chat with you, Pete. I know that
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a fan than you are, but you have played some of them. But
Yeah.
I just wondered, is that the reason for the kind of lack of sales? Now, they're still making money on these things. Let's not say it's all doom and gloom, like, oh my God, that Square's losing money. They're not. It's just that they're not making the money they thought they were going to make. And it's because Final Fantasy, I think, just does not have an identity anymore. It went from being, in my mind, the kind of originator of the JRPG. That's not technically true, but with Final Fantasy VII, it became the first kind of mainstream JRPG that I can remember.
Yeah.
Um, and they had that kind of they had that down pat. They were always the biggest game, at least over here in the West. But over time, they've changed it and they've changed it, and it's become almost unrecognizable to the point when the last game, Final Fantasy 16, which I haven't played because I had
Right.
no interest in it, has turned more or less into an action game. It's like playing Devil May Cry. So the point is that it has no identity anymore. And I thought that it would be an interesting talking point for one of the news stories regarding the factors where do they go from here? I think they should go back to their roots. I don't think they will, but I think they should go back to their roots.
Um, What is actually they're losing money? People are starting to lose interest, are they? I mean, like,
Yeah, they're not losing money. It's just they're not hitting the. You could say that it's unrealistic. They're not hitting the sales targets they expected. So it's
right,
not like they're in trouble of going under or anything silly like that. It's just that they're not making the money they thought they were going to make. For example, Rebirth made only got half the profit that the original is, and we've discussed this a little bit regarding if because they screwed with the story in the first game.
mm,
Well, the ending anyway. The last half an hour of the first game is if you're an if you know if you are, are a traditionalist in that way and you just wanted a more or less a one-for-one recreation or as close as, then the ending of the Final Fantasy Remake Part 1 is going to blow your mind because you're going to be like, what?
mm.
So how many fans dropped off at that point? And I think it was more than they thought.
Well, yeah, we've spoken about this.
We have spoken about this before in some way, yeah.
But to sort of reiterate it briefly, I think part 2 didn't do as well as they wanted it to be, and the reason for that is because I don't know the storyline, they're just trying to be way too clever, and I think people just wanted just like a one-for-one, story, like how it was, not like all this kind of weird ass ambiguous fucking light ghosts, dark ghosts, and what the fuck, man. But whatever, man. With the franchise, I think
what do you think of it, Pete? When you think of Final Fantasy now, what
Mm.
comes into your mind other than it being? I mean,
Well,
honestly,
nothing, to be quite honest with you, because like I only really played 7 and 8. And I never really sort of played any of the other ones, so I'm not like savvy with it all. I think the core element of Final Fantasy is falling in love with like characters and stuff. So if it doesn't have that, or if they're gonna have like a boy band game like they did with 15 or whatever it was,
yeah,
then there's there's nothing to sort of hook us in, so to speak. So at the core of it, that's why I enjoyed the Final Fantasies 7 and 8 specifically. So
well, I can tell you from the ones that I remember is that 7, 8, 9, and 10 had a general love story as quite a big thing about it. In 7, it was a kind of the love triangle. In 8, it was Rinoa was the girl, and the Squall, I think his name was. In 9, it was the Princess Dagger, I think she's called, and I can't remember the main hero's name. He's like a thief. He's like got a tail. It's weird. Number 9's a weird game. And number 10, he's Titus and Yuna. Thank God Com's not here watching. Otherwise, they'd be giving me shit for that. And that was the main thing. And then they dropped it. Number 12 onwards, they dropped that whole thing, and they've gone further and further away, I think, from that. And I'm not saying that every game has to have that in for it to be successful. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they can't change it around. Sometimes you do need to if it gets too. But they've just gone further and further away to less success. I'd understand if they were getting more. If you know what I mean, if you change tact and you get a bit more success, and maybe you can look back and say, okay, so maybe they had a point. But it's not true. They've just gone further and further away from their roots. And as a Final Fantasy VII fan, the fact that I saw 16, saw what they'd done to the gameplay, and just said to myself, you know what, I'm not really interested unless I see it going for like a sale, like maybe half price, maybe, but I'm not. I have zero interest in this game.
Mm.
So they've and you're right. The boy band one was the one before, so that's 15. So they've gone in this completely kind of, and I thought 15 was quite a poor game.
Yeah.
People kind of seem to like, oh, you're 4 guys in a car. Yeah, fine, okay, that was okay. But that's only like half the game. What they don't tell you is the second half of the game is even worse, and it's completely linear as well. There's no kind of, so that's only half. They're only actually telling you half the game. They're not talking about the second half of the game.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Pete. I just felt it was something worth saying because it has reared its head again. I won't jump to the gun and say they have not threatened that they're going to stop making games. There's no threat. The third game still The third game's probably already done all its concepts. You know, it's probably already in the beginnings. I'd imagine of actually putting it together anyway. They've probably done all the planning already, so they're probably just starting to make it. I would imagine.
Yeah.
So that will be going ahead, and there'll be a Final Fantasy 17. God knows what it will look like. But I was just I want it to go back to being a what I would consider a Final Fantasy game, which is like a role playing game, not a hack and slash game, dude. Which is what it's
kind of become.
Yeah.
I think they, you know, you're right. They need to go back to their roots and sort of, you know, I think people are getting a bit fatigued with this sort of like global threat issue. Like, you know, like there needs to be something which is, you know, not as explosive. I think they just, as you said, that they need that role playing game aspect back, and you know, part of that is falling in love with characters and stuff like that. And when you don't have that, there's nothing really left for us to sort of, you know, get excited about. So you know, yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. They need to go back to the drawing board and you know, find some decent talent. I'm not saying there's any decent talent there, but they need something original. So.
Well, I mean, Rebirth had a lot going for it. We know that the story was a bit out there, and I think that there's certainly in Rebirth. What's the word I'm looking for? There was not timing. What am I thinking of, Pete?
Well, the whole plot itself was just way.
Yeah, it's the whole kind of like I say, the whole kind of timing issue where they jump between really serious stuff and then turn it into complete comedy, and it kind of breaks the flow. I think that's one of my personal nitpicks with it.
Yeah.
With Rebirth.
Yeah.
The pacing, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, so there's a pacing issue in Rebirth, I think. So
yeah. But whatever. I mean, this segues nicely into a little bit of minor news, if you like.
Okay.
Sweet Baby Inc.
Oh yes.
So Square Enix have dropped this company like a hot potato. Now, if you don't know what Sweet Baby Inc. are, they are a consultancy group who sort of provide storylines for you know, games and stuff like that. And so basically someone
provide storylines.
Yeah, they're all about the DEI, so diversity, what is it? Diversity, inclusion, and something else that begins with E. I don't know. But anyway, so these are the people that are responsible for this diversity in video games. Let's just leave it at that.
They've been working with BioWare, have they?
Well, see, this is the thing. Some user on Reddit found out that this Sweet Baby Inc. Has their fingers in a lot of game franchises or IPs, if you like. And he went on a mission to find out what they are. I think he was banned from... was it... Okay, let me just check the Reddit here. Controversy was a Steam user creating a curator tool on Steam listing games Sweet Baby Inc. are credited on, and this caused a firestorm and people digging more info about Sweet Baby Inc. So we don't know how many games they're involved with. What we do know so far is that Square Enix has dropped them like a hot potato. And they've released a statement saying, "Oh, you know, we're still inclusive, etc., etc., etc." But I think what's actually happening behind the screens here is that they've realised that end users don't like being force-fed diversity when it's not really an issue, right? So all these like people are saying, oh, you have to have an Indian character in there, you have to have a Japanese character in there. Like when you have like a World War II game and some of the soldiers in the World War II are female, that didn't happen. We didn't have female soldiers in World War II. They were all male. There may have been female spies and stuff like that, and of course, you know, there are multiple documents of them existing. But when it comes down to sort of boots on the ground,
Oh,
You know, that they were all males. So this is the issue that people are talking about, and a lot of people are calling it Gamergate 2.0 or whatever. Suicide Squad, they had a credit for, and so you know, we just don't know how many other.
you mean that critical successfully game that
Oh, yeah, that
Suicide
sold
Squad?
millions.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that great game that's really doing well. Yeah,
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 yeah.
good job.
Basically, so yes, there's an issue going on with that. So I don't know the specifics. You're going to have to watch another YouTube video for that. But yeah, so that's the issue with Sweet Baby Inc. So yeah, watch this space to see what happens with that.
Dear me.
Ubisoft. Let's move on to Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft, what are you doing? Yeah. Okay.
Been a bad couple of months for them. Been a bad couple of months for them. Their Star Wars game did not meet expectations,
No.
both critically and sales wise. And they've had to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute, but they've had to delay that until February, which is right when Monster Hunter comes out. And I'm not being funny, but well, I'm going to be playing Monster Hunter.
I'm not going to be playing Assassin's Creed.
I'm interested in it because of the setting, and I guess I still am. Although, as we're probably going to talk about, it sounds like the Japanese people who will know their culture better than you and I are saying that Ubisoft is full of it, and not just because of the main black leader. It actually goes further than that, because apparently that though he was the black gentleman is real. Apparently, according to the Japanese people,
he did exist.
He did exist, but he's been way overstated, and they've made him. Apparently, he's been way overstated. But okay, let's get into it, I guess. Yeah. So as I said,
their stocks have fallen.
Yeah.
They've dropped so rapidly, and they're scared. And I think they're probably sitting in their boardroom right now thinking, oh my God, is this because of all this forced diversity shit? And yeah, I mean, like, this is the time of reckoning in terms of you know, games sort of trying to push all this shit on us. It's like, we're not idiots, man. We stop trying to sort of force all this stuff on us. We're not like 5 years old. Some of us are, but like, you know.
Yeah, but even if on your younger age, Pete, and you're a fan of video games, you might not notice it the first time. You might not even notice it the second time. But once they keep doing it, you're going to be like, why is that there? Do you know what I mean? You will wake up. Some people it does take longer than others, but you'll wake up.
Yeah, that's the issue. And you know, we don't like being force fed it. I'm just going to say it again. We just don't like it. We don't want it. We want engaging storylines. We want immersive gameplay. We're here to play games to take us away from real life. We don't want to be reminded of it, you know, unless you're playing like a war game or something, whatever. I don't fucking know. You get my point, though. You know, we don't.
I'm
100%
with you, mate. Yeah. I mean, this is just personal taste, but I generally stay away from a lot of games that are set in today's world. There's exceptions to the rule, like the GTA game's going to be set in modern day, and I'll play that, but they'll be taking a mick out of the real world half the time. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what I play, dude. But we have to accept there are some people who maybe they haven't got this. You know, maybe there's a lack of imagination, and they do see it as an extension of, like I say, they'll put themselves. We spoke about this in the Dragon Age video. Some people are like that, where they will just put themselves into the video game and they don't do that kind of. I don't know. It's weird to me. That's how I view games. I think it's a bit weird to you, but some people don't really. You know, some people will just put themselves. And I don't know. Is that who it's targeted to? Is there people, Pete? Obviously not you and me, and obviously probably not a lot of our people who watch, right? But is there people who want the 2024 ideologies in their games? Like, that is actually something that they want. They want to be playing these games in other worlds. It seems like a contradiction to me. They want these games in these other worlds, like your Dragon Ages or your Mass Effects or your Witchers, whatever. But they want 2024 politics represented in these games. And if they're not, they feel like, well, I'm not interested in because it doesn't get to me on a personal level. I find that crazy. That's me. But do we have to accept that there are people who want that?
I don't think there's nearly as many people as they think there are, and this is where social media comes into play. Social media tends to blow up things to such a gross degree that they think that the whole world is trans or gay or stuff like that. So they're adapting to that, and now they're realizing that, well, the world's not really like that. I mean, like, you take a look at the statistics. It's like 1% or 2% of the world's population are trans or whatever. I don't know what the statistics are for gay people. It's probably a lot higher, but it's not the majority of the market, is my point. So I like to think that they're starting to realize this now, and if they're not careful, they're gonna, they're literally gonna go, out of business.
Well, Disney still haven't got their head around it. Their latest Marvel show is, and it's not really about trans. I should say it's not. I'm not on this one. I'm not talking about. I am talking more about the gay, not trans as much. But the latest show is just full of gay characters. It's like, I don't mind if there's one, but why they all like it? Why is it all about that?
Well, at the end of the day, you can make a gay show, you can make a trans show. I don't care. But what I do care about is, well, if they want to do a show where all the cast are, all the sort of characters are gay, whatever. But when it comes to games and stuff, and if you're trying to recreate a fantasy world like Dragon Age, why the fuck would you want to put transition scars on your body and stuff like that? Why, I'm using that as an example, but
no idea.
Right, so it's like you're here to sort of get taken away from the game. Why don't you just, like, if you want to be a female in a video game, just build a female. Like, me and you play females all the time.
Yeah.
So what's the issue? Why do you have to have Scott anyway?
So, like I say, all I can think of that there's just some people who my criticism to those people is not the fact that they're trans or anything. I really don't care that much. My criticism to those people would be your lack of imagination. That would be my criticism to those people. Is a lack of.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you play games, to be honest. As I'm not sure, because you're not really embracing the game, are you? If you're just going to make yourself. I mean,
I've said this a million times. Is that with each passing day, the idea of originality is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, and there's less and less opportunities to be original. Because you have like IPs that patent stuff and copyright things, and it's just like, I understand that there's sort of like a creative bankruptcy going on across the board, and that's what seems to be happening, but you have to sort of deal with it. You can't just sort of say, oh, people want to play trans games, and you just like, you have like a tiny group that says, yes, we all want trans people, and that's not a representative of your entire user base. So it's clearly not, because this is what's happening. So Ubisoft is losing stock drastically. They're scared about Assassin's Creed, and they're scared about Dragon Age Veilguard.
How do you feel, Pete, quickly, about the Assassin's Creed and the criticism from the people who would know more than you and me about Japanese culture, the historians saying, okay, well, you've gotten that wrong and you've gotten that wrong. Is it that this is what all the Assassin's Creed games have done? And that people who, like French people when it was like in Unity, and all the different Italian people when it was all set in Italy. I don't remember hearing any of this. So is it that they've just done a worse job this time, or is it that the Japanese people are just louder than? I don't know why they would be.
No.
Why is this game in particular getting so much crap regarding their historical inaccuracies? Because I thought generally they'd been quite good.
Well, They have been really, really good.
Why have they screwed the pooch this time then by getting so much wrong when it comes to Japanese history?
Well, it's probably because of Sweet Baby Inc. trying to be all diverse and shit. Like, you know, that's the problem. They're trying to inject diversity, equality, and inclusive aspects to a game that doesn't need it or doesn't want it. So I'm not going to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm not going to play Dragon Age Veilguard just because they're doing these things. You know, Assassin's Creed Shadows apparently now isn't accurate, which is, you know, whatever. I don't.
Apparently, they've got a whole bunch of pretty important things. There was some other discussion, and sorry guys, I don't have it all written down in front of me. Maybe I should have, but there's stuff to do with a flag of something that apparently was meant to have some kind of meaning, but the historians all said no. It means like literally probably the exact opposite you think it does. So they've made all these mistakes, and they have not put the time and effort that I thought that, especially a company like Ubisoft with their resources, would have done when their Assassin's Creed games are well known for being taking part in these big historical points of history. And really was one of their big look. When you play an Assassin's Creed game, and Alan will back me up in the chat, you don't care about this animus crap. You don't care about the stuff that happens in the real world, and they've realized that all you care about is going to these places in history and living out a kind of historical fantasy. Yeah. That's what people want. And if they've screwed that up, then big questions have got to be asked, dude. And I don't think that's why it's been delayed, though I wonder if they're going to have to remove some of these things that have been pointed out by some of the Japanese fans, and they're going to have to say, okay, we've got to delay this shit now because we've got to go in there and change this stuff.
Yeah.
So
you know, and setting aside the fact that, you know, Assassin's Creed is kind of getting a bit long in the tooth now. It's like, you know, come on, man, let's just drag it out to a barn and double barrel it in the face. You know, they need to move on from it. You know, like, I don't want them remaking any Assassin's Creed games because it's just, you know.
Well, that will be the next thing they start doing, yeah.
Okay, well, you know, I really just, I'm tired of talking about all of this fucking inclusive bullshit. Let's move on to the final news piece, which is quite positive, and that is there's a rumor that GTA 6 trailer 2 is going to be out this Friday. Now, a lot of fans who still play the GTA 5 online, they released a new trailer, or they released some new content, and in one of the screens or some video, there's a license plate which says October 4th. And a lot of people, because, you know, Rockstar like doing this sort of thing. So everyone reckons that there's going to be another trailer coming October 4th. Now, we should have had one already. They did say that there would probably be another one in July or June or July, whatever.
They never did they?
No. So yeah, we are looking forward to another trailer, and there are rumors that the game might be delayed. Those rumors are still persisting, but I think everyone is of the same opinion that it is like, look, take your fucking time. The last thing we want is a buggy mess. And to be fair to Rockstar, they rarely release buggy messes. So
no, you can criticize them for certain things, but releasing buggy messes, no. The only thing I would say they've done, which is probably the reason why we are not getting the remakes of the Red Redemption series, is that they did screw the pooch with the HD remasters of the Vice City GTA 3. They obviously gave it to a company they shouldn't have.
Yeah, they outsourced it.
So yes, they should have done it themselves. That is a mistake they've made, and because of that, it doesn't look like we're going to get the remasters of the Red Dead Redemption, which is a shame.
No. Well, no. I there's news that they actually worked out a way of remastering it, the Red Dead 1. So we may actually see.
Is it Rockstar themselves doing it though, not some?
I don't know. Okay. I don't have any info on that. But yes, hopefully there will be a trailer for GTA 6. Well, another one on Friday. So we'll see what happens there. Very excited. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like I played through number 5 at least 2 or 3 times, I think. I probably could play through it again because I think Alan got it for me last year. The 60 frames per second, and you know what I'm like. So I've actually never played it at 60 frames per second. So
Yeah.
Any excuse to go back because it is a very fun game, as you know. So maybe I will.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's our news articles for this session. So, what do you guys think? Let us know in the comment section below. We would love to hear from you, and we will engage whenever we can. We are busy bees. We do other things as well. So, if you like our shows, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, do all that other good stuff. And we have a Patreon channel, and that enables us to speak on YouTube a little bit more freely. Allows us to say words like fuck, shit, cunt, bollocks, tit, wank, arse, candle, boobies, hymen, clitoris, all those, abuse, twat waffle, burger bum, whatever, all this good stuff, ass.
I can't even say the word ass. Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode. Until then, take care.
Take care.